at ISKCON of Silicon Valley. Today we'll be reading from Canto 2nd, Chapter 2. But before we start the class, let's do the Jai Radha Madhava prayers, and then we can do the Mangalacharan prayers and we can start. Balivardhan Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari We'll start with our Mangalacharan prayers, then we can get started. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam त्वं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभयश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। त्वमादिदेवं करुणं निधानं तमालवर्णं सुहितावतारम् अपार संसार समुद्रसेतुं भजामहे भागवतस्वरूपम्। Hare Krishna. So we read from Canto 2, Chapter 2 and text number 3. Kindly repeat after me. Atha kavirnama suyavadartah syada pramatto vyavasaya buddhihi सिद्ध्येन्यतार्थे नयते तत्र परिश्रमं तत्र समीक्षमानः। अतः कविर्नाम सुयावदर्थः स्यादप्रमत्तो व्यवसाय बुद्धिः। सिद्धेन्यतार्थे नयते तत्र परिश्रमं तत्र समीक्षमाणः। अतः कविर्नाम सुयावदर्थः स्यादप्रमत्तो व्यवसाय बुद्धिः। सिद्धेन्यतार्थे नयते तत्र परिश्रमं तत्र समीक्षमानः। प्रभुस अतः कविर्नाम सुयावदर्थः स्यादप्रमत्तो व्यवसाय बुद्धिः।
सिद्धे अन्य सिद्धेन्यथार्थे न यतेत तत्र
सिद्धेन्यतार्थे न यतेत तत्र
परिश्रमं तत्र समीक्ष्यमानः
परिश्रमं तत्र समीक्षमानः
अतः कविर्नामसु यावदर्थः
अतः कविर्नामसु यावदर्थः
स्यादप्रमत्तो व्यवसाय बुद्धिः
स्यादप्रमत्तो व्यवसाय बुद्धिः
सिद्धेन्यथार्थे न यतेत तत्र
सिद्धेन्ययार्थे न यतेत तत्र
परिश्रमं तत्र समीक्ष्यमाणः
परीक्षमं तत्र समीक्षमानः। माताजी।
अतः कविर्नामसु यावदर्थः
अतः कविर्नामसु यावदर्थः
स्यादप्रमत्तो व्यवसाय बुद्धिः
स्यादप्रमत्तो व्यवसाय बुद्धिः
सिद्धेन्यथार्थेन यतेत तत्र
सिद्धेन्यतार्थे न यतेत तत्र
परिश्रमं तत्र समीक्ष्यमानः
परिश्रमं तत्र समीक्षमानः।
अथा कविर्नामसु यावदर्थः
अतः कविर्नामसु यावदर्थः
स्यादप्रमत्तो व्यवसाय बुद्धिः
स्यादप्रमत्तो व्यवसाय बुद्धिः
सिद्धेन्यथार्थेन यतेत तत्र
सिद्धेन्यतार्थे न यतेत तत्र
परिश्रमं तत्र समीक्षमानः
परिश्रमं तत्र समीक्षमानः। अतः, for this reason, Kavihi, the enlightened person, Namasu, in names only, Yavat, minimum, Artaha, necessity, Syat, must be, Apramattaha, without being mad after them, Vyavasaya buddhihi, intelligently fixed, Siddhe, for success, Anyatha, otherwise, Arthe, in the interest of, Na, should never, Yateta, for endeavor, endeavor for, thank you, Tatra, there, Parishramam, laboring hard, Tatra, there, Samikshamanaha, one who sees practically. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. For this reason, the enlightened person should endeavor only for the minimum necessities of life, while in the world of names. He should be intelligently fixed and never endeavor for unwanted things, being competent to perceive practically that all such endeavors are merely hard labor for nothing. Purport. The Bhagavad Dharma, or the cult of Srimad Bhagavatam, is perfectly distinct from the way of fruitive activities, which are considered by the devotees to be merely a waste of time. The whole universe, or for that matter, all material existence, is moving on as Jagat, simply for planning business to make one's position very comfortable or secure, although everyone sees that this existence is neither comfortable nor secure and can never become comfortable or secure at any stage of development. Those who are captivated by the illusory advancement of material civilization, following the way of phantasmagoria, are certainly madmen. The whole material creation is a jugglery of names only. In fact, it is nothing but a bewildering creation of matter like earth, water, and fire, The buildings, furniture, cars, bungalows, mills, factories, industries, peace, war, or even the highest perfection of material science, namely the atomic energy and electronics, are all simply bewildering names of material elements with their concomitant reactions of the three modes. Since the devotee of the Lord knows them perfectly well, he is not interested in creating unwanted things for a situation which is not at all reality, but simply names of no more significance than the babble of sea waves. The great kings, leaders, and soldiers fight with one another in order to perpetuate their names in history. They are forgotten in due course of time, and they make a place for another era in history. But the devotee realizes how much history and historical persons are useless products of flickering time. The fruitive worker aspires after a big fortune in the matter of wealth, women, and worldly adoration, but those who are fixed in the perfect reality are not at all interested in such false things. For them, it's all a waste of time. Since every second of human life is important, an enlightened man should be very careful to utilize time very cautiously. 1 second of human life wasted in the vain search of planning for happiness in the material world can never be replaced, even if one spends millions of gold coins. Therefore, the transcendentalist, desiring freedom from the clutches of Maya or the illusory activities of the life, is warned herewith not to be captivated by the external features of fruitive actors. Human life is never meant for sense gratification, but for self-realization. Srimad Bhagavatam instructs us solely on this subject from the very beginning to the end. Human life is simply meant for self-realization. The civilization that aims at this utmost perfection never indulges in creating unwanted things, and such a perfect civilization prepares men only to accept the bare necessities of life or to follow the principle of the best use of a bad bargain. Our material bodies and our lives in that connection are bad bargains because the living entity is actually spiritual, and spiritual advancement of the living entity is absolutely necessary. Human life is intended for realization of this important factor, and one should act accordingly, accepting only the bare necessities of life and depending more on the God's gift without diversion of human energy for any other purpose, such as being mad for material enjoyment. The materialistic advancement of civilization is called the civilization of demons, which ultimately ends in wars and scarcities. The transcendentalist is specifically warned herewith to be fixed in mind, so that even if there is difficulty in plain living and high thinking, he will not budge even an inch from his stark determination. For the transcendentalist, it's a suicidal policy to be intimately in touch with the sense gratifiers of the world, because such a policy will frustrate the ultimate gain of life. Shukadeva Goswami met Maharaj Parikshit when the latter felt a necessity for such a meeting. It is the duty of a transcendentalist to help the persons who desire real salvation and to support the cause of salvation. One might note that Shukadeva Goswami never met Maharaj Parikshit while he was ruling as a great king. For a transcendentalist, the mode of activities is explained in the next shloka. Thank you. So this verse I chose because this verse starts off a series of verses that follows afterwards. We hear from the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, at the very end of the first canto, how Maharaj Parikshit was cursed to die and how Shukadeva Goswami appeared on the scene. It was not perchance, or it was not somehow it happened, or there was an email or text message to Shukadeva Goswami and that he arrived. Maharaj Parikshit, when he was cursed to die, It's a beautiful story, the story being that the same Maharaj Parikshit was saved by Krishna in the womb of his mother. And for a very small mistake of his, he was cursed to die in 7 days. And Bhagavatam mentions that Maharaj Parikshit was perfectly competent to counteract that curse. He could have said to Shringi, you curse me to die in 7 days. I curse you that your curse is ineffective. That's all. That's all he should have said. He could have said. And it would have been perfect. His life would have been continuing as usual. But he said, this is will of Krishna. And then he gave up everything and he sat on the bank of Ganges. At that time, the sages from the entire universe assembled at that point because he was sitting and fasting to death on the bank of river Ganges. And so many sages came and they didn't know what to do. It's mentioned that everybody was trying to advise. If there is a very, very powerful king or a powerful president in the cabinet, everybody tries to advise to do this, to do that, either for whatever be the reasons. While the example is little crude in its presentation, but nevertheless, that was the intention of the sages, well-intentioned. Sages were well-intentioned on how to solve this problem or conundrum of Maharaj Parikshit. And it seems there was a disagreement. And then in came Shukadeva Goswami, all of 16 years old, clothed only in 4 directions, long curly hair, beautiful lotus petal-like eyes, having the complexion of Krishna, broad chest, fine collarbones. Every limb of his body was perfectly formed, and he strode in. As soon as he strode in, then everybody made way, and Shukadeva Goswami didn't just hesitate. He sat on the seat, and he had to answer 2 important questions by Maharaj Parikshit. What is the duty of the human beings in general, and what is the duty of the person who's about to die? And probably that is applicable to everyone. Because in this material existence, I don't think everybody will not have to answer that question. It's just a matter of time. So, in the first chapter of second canto, he praises Maharaj Parikshit for his question. Variyan eshate prashna, krito loka hitam ripa, atmavit sammatah pumsam, shrotavyadishu yapara. And he continues, shrotavyadini rajendra. He continues like that, beautifully praising, Variyan yeshate prashna. O king, you have put the best of the questions. Why? Because this question and the answer to this question has been approved by the transcendental authorities. And they are the right questions to be asked for the person who has to die. Because if a person is about to die and the question he'll ask is, how is the stock market doing? Where are my investments going up and down? Or, what happened to the Bitcoin that I put? Really, those questions are great, but they are not going to solve your ultimate problem. And coming back to this, he mentions about directly at the outset, he says that one should continuously hear and chant about Krishna. And in the second canto or second chapter that we are at, here he is mentioning, this is the title, The Lord in the Heart. And this particular verse, it's very poignant because he uses the word namasu. Namasu means in name only. If you think about it, no offense to any people and to what they do. You are the president of United States or whatever be the premiership of any country. You rule for 4 years, 8 years, whatever be it. And then there is an urgency. What is the urgency? First of all, there is deep anxiety to run to the office and win it. Somehow or other you win it. You have 4 years or 8 years of decisions to make. And then at the end of it, there is another urgency or anxiety comes about. What is that? My legacy. What is my legacy? How should I leave my legacy? And then they build libraries and memorials and the archives of the letters, memoirs, and they put it in this particular library. And please understand the beauty of this is that if a President X, who was the president of this country for 8 years and had this beautiful memorial, or X memorial library, and oh my God, what a great personality he was. And that person, Mr. X, he dies, and in the next life, he's born in that same city. And he will come, oh my God, in the previous life, this was this great president, Mr. X, and he did all that. Arey Baba, it was you. The name was there, Mr. X name remains, but even the Mr. X who was in that body doesn't even have a clue of what he was in the previous life. So that is why it is mentioned that this world is a world of names only. There is no question of substance in those names. The names will come, the names will go. The persons behind the names will come and the names will go, the name will remain. So if a person tries to just establish the eternality, because people are afraid of death, they will say, I need to perpetuate my name in this world so that, my legacy remains. And it is not just true of US presidents, but any particular person who is walking this earth. What's my legacy? What's my future? How do I pass it down? Without even knowing the fact that I won't even remember a thing of what I was in my previous life. Krishna actually asked the exact same question by Arjuna. Krishna says to Arjuna, oh Arjuna, I taught this knowledge to sun god many millions of years ago. And Arjuna says, you are me are compatriots, compadres. We are just born at the same time. You are just maybe 2-3 years older than me, but we are companions. And then but how do you remember you spoke this knowledge to sun god? Then Krishna says, many births you and I have passed, but I remember all of them and you don't. So basically, when we come to this conclusion, the problem is that when you come to ISKCON classes or any other classes, I'm not even saying ISKCON, Gaudiya, Vaishnava philosophy, any class you take, any spiritual substance or any spiritual school will point out the fallacy of depending on matter or considering matter to be ultimate. You might say me, Shankaracharya says in his Bhajagovindam song, Artham anartham, what is that? Yavat pavano nivasati dehe, tavati pruchhati kushalam gehe, gatavati vayo deha paye, bharya bibhyati tasmin kaye. The translation is, Yavat pavano nivasati dehe, means as long as the life airs are circulating in your body. Tavati pruchhati, means everybody will ask about your welfare. Tavati pruchhati kushalam gehe, how are you doing well? Gatavati vayo, as soon as the life air leaves your body, bharya, your own wife will be afraid of your body. You built this house, this beautiful house, this family, and my wife, oh my God, and people, conditioned soul will give their heart and soul to kind of building this family. And, especially in Kali Yuga, it's become so predominant, my family, me, and, it is natural because Bhagavatam does mention in Kali Yuga, a person who can maintain his family is considered an economical expert. You are an expert person if you can maintain the family. That has become the standard of Kali Yuga. And movies and serials and, because the relationships are so fickle in this life, a person who is married for 25 years, they'll be like, oh my God, how did you do it? What is the secret of your success? As if we have done something miraculous. This is how it is. Because, and then it is mentioned that as soon as I invested my whole life for my family, and as soon as the last breath leaves my body, my wife will say, take this body out, 2 days, I'm done. This is my house, my family. There is no question of my house, my family. You pretty much, Krishna has said, thank you very much. Now it's time for you to exit. It's your exit strategy. These things actually, people will say, dude, you are just harshing the buzz. I want to enjoy life and you're saying this nonsense. The point is, this is not nonsense, this is the reality. And for a materialist, this reality will be distasteful and you will not want to do anything with spirituality. They will say, I'm good, I'm fine, what you guys do, what you're all fools. You don't know how to enjoy life. who has seen soul, who has seen what afterlife and God, you guys are nonsense. Do whatever you need to do. But the fact of the matter is, for a practicing spiritualist, this message time and again will kind of temper down our mind that wants to grab material things. It will temper down the fact that, this is, there is certain value in the human form of life that I have to chase. In Bhagavatam mentions the same thing. It's the rarity of human form of life is mentioned in Bhagavatam. Labdva sudurlabamidam bahusam bhavante manushamarthadam anityam api hadira turnam yateta napateta numrutyu yavan nishrehasaya vishaya khalu sarvatasyat. It is mentioned labdva sudurlabam. This labdva means to gain. Sudurlabam. Durlabam is difficult. Su added to durlabam is extremely difficult. Labdva sudurlabam. What is that? Idam. Idam means this. Bahu sambhavante. After many, many births. Sambhavante means transferring or getting born again and again. Bahu sambhavante. What is that? Manusham. This human form of life. Arthadam. It has purpose. But even though it is anitya, there is a specific purpose of human life, even though it's anitya. Manusham arthadam anityam apiha. Even though dhira. Dhira means one who is sober. The same thing is mentioned here in this verse. Turnam yateta napati. As long as the body is not going to fall, try going for the highest. Try going for the highest. But if you don't even know what is highest, then what will you go for it? My family is highest. My career is highest. So unless one has spirituality, then you will really not know what is the highest goal that one needs to change. And Bhagavatam at the very outset, it just cuts through everything. It says, Krishna, just meditate on Krishna and that's enough. It will take time. Please understand that it is not a simply on-off switch that we have. It will take time for us to come to this goal that personality is whom I need to surrender. And I have complete faith that he will protect me. I have complete faith that just by serving him, I don't need to fear not doing other duties properly. We need to do the bare minimum. Don't get me wrong. We have to do the bare minimum, but not to the point that, that becomes my goal. No, Krishna becomes your goal. Everything else becomes a means to that goal. Whatever be the situation. You have a family, you have to have a job, you have to have a responsibility. You need to run for mayor or president or business or whatever. Those are all sideshows as long as Krishna is the middle. Then you will read these particular things of negativity actually will give impetus. For a materialist, they are put off by spirituality, but whereas for a spiritualist, it actually gives impetus. It will say, you have a license to not work this hard in this world. You have a license to work fully hard for Krishna. And that would be such a revelation. Because people are working hard, they don't know why they are working hard, they don't know what is the purpose, and whatever little sense gratification we can get out of working hard, must be the goal of my working hard. So let me work even harder and acquire more things. So you can see how the Maya of the Lord is so strong. It can capture the living entity and say that this is your world, this is you, I'm here to serve you, I'm here to make you feel the king. And the jiva wants to be like that. Whatever be it, that desire to enjoy and that desire to dominate in this world, that has jivas, that Maya captures the jiva and says, okay, you are the king. And the jiva is like continuing like that. The Bhagavatam is counteractive. One of the other beautiful things that is mentioned here is Shukadeva Goswami, he never met Maharaj Parikshit before. He was not his buddy. He was not on a speed dial of Maharaj Parikshit. And Maharaj Parikshit was a pure devotee of Krishna. He was Bhagavatottama. In fact, when Shringi cursed Maharaj Parikshit, his father was Shamik Rishi. Thank you. He said, my dear boy, you are an immature child. You have no clue on who you cursed for a small fault. This personality is Bhagavatottama. He is the topmost devotee of the Lord. Besides, he is the king. If there is no king, the whole country will be ruined by thieves. What did you do? And that personality, when you depend on Krishna, then Krishna will give you the right perspective. Krishna will give you the right means and methods on finding a proper association that can bring back to him. We just need to depend on Krishna saying that maybe this is your will and let me like bend myself to your will and things will work. But that is the power of bhakti, that the jiva initially will bend to the will of Krishna. In the advanced stages of bhakti, Krishna will bend to the will of the jiva or his devotees. It is a beautiful relationship that actually constitutes where Krishna actually wants to serve his devotees, where Krishna wants to take the position of being the servant of his devotees. And it is, if you see, one of the most heart-touching episodes from Bhagavatam is when Sudama walks into Dwaraka. Not the fact that he was poor, not the fact that he got a fabulous amount of wealth, and those are all wonderful aspects of the story in of its themselves. But the fact how Krishna received him. It is mentioned that when Sudama walked into Dwaraka, his clothes were ragged. There were so many holes that they had to have patches to fill those holes. Every nerve ending was popping out. Every vein was popping out of his body because he was so emaciated. Besides, he was not very beautifully looking. Because of his clothes being old, they looked really old. His Brahman thread was not like shining. And when you are on that level of emaciation, you won't look really beautiful. The Lord was sitting in the bedroom of his favorite Queen Rukmini. This was another point. It was not that he had a GPS address of Krishna, 16,108. Even GPS will go mad to put in the address of Krishna in Dwaraka. He has 16,108 palaces. Where will you go? And if you try searching for Krishna, you will spend practically the entire life in Dwaraka trying to serve Krishna, because how many houses can you go? It is mentioned that somehow because of his desire, he stumbled right upon Rukmini's palace. And the Lord was sitting somewhere inside. And everybody was thinking, who is this Brahmana? How did he even come? Because you were a Brahmana, the guards wouldn't stop them out of etiquette. And then the Lord was right there. And then he just gave up everything. He rushed out to meet Sudama. And then he so beautifully embraced him. And he held his hands. My friend, thank you for coming. And he took him all the way to his bedroom. There, actually, he did arati to Sudama. Rukmini was whatever chamara fan whisk she was using for Krishna, now she was using for Sudama. While the goddess of fortune was fanning this Brahmana, the supreme absolute truth was washing his feet. And then taking that water and putting on his head. Imagine that. That same supreme absolute truth, whose words, whose glories, whose fame, and whose power is infinite. Why would he honor this? And then his servants were all like, who is this Brahmana that has got such attention from Krishna that he's washing his feet? And after all that, he was just speaking to Sudama. He first did arati to him. He fed him. Then they started, after he was rested, they talked about for a while. They recounted all their incidents in Sandipani Muni's Gurukula on how they were lost and how the spiritual master had to find them. And Krishna talked so sweetly. That was the best part. Sudama never came thinking that, how much money Krishna will cut check for. He was just thinking, I will have an opportunity to meet Krishna. and I can get out of my house for some time. Just joking. And Krishna, of course, we know that facet. I will not talk too much of how he grabbed the chipped rice, broken chipped rice from him, and he ate, and all that. That's again the famous aspect of the story. But this is the lesser known aspect. And Krishna spends wholehearted attention. Think about it. If a person gives you attention, did you ever have an experience where a person gave you your complete attention without looking at the phone, looking at the watch, looking at something, being distracted? It happens, at least in the virtual world. It's so clear. The cameras are off, yet you know that person is not listening to you. Because human beings are perceptive. In the online cameras, in the virtual meetings that happen these days, the cameras are off. Practically I work from home, and I practically have pretty much all the meetings on virtual Zoom. Even though the cameras are off, you think that nobody can see where your eyes are and everything, your voice will give you away. You will be speaking something, and then that person will respond after 2 seconds. Yes, you're right. I knew this person was hearing nothing of what I was saying. But imagine if a person sits with you for just an hour. In the modern world, 1 hour is a big thing, unfortunately. If a person sits and just listens to you, without judging you, without just completely empathizing you, how delightful and how satisfied in your heart you will feel. Try it sometime with your spouses, with your children, without being judgmental, without being condescending, without worrying about trying to solve the problem. Just listen. Because the internal meditation is, you are a jiva and I am a jiva. I am not God. Even though I may be in the position of father or I have some power, I am not still God. And you are that jiva. And these roles can be easily flipped. Today, you are dependent on me. Tomorrow, I'll be dependent on you. So, but if you just take that out and if you just listen from a jiva to jiva, that person will be so satisfied. Think about the Supreme Absolute Truth who gave that attention to Sudama. What satisfaction Sudama must have got. And so that was the beauty of Sudama. He was just so satisfied. So satisfied. And then he started walking back to his city. Then it struck him. The purpose I came to Dwarka was to get some money from Krishna. He gave me $0. He gave me nothing. Then as Sudama started walking, this is Krishna's mercy. If he gave me money, he would think I'll become corrupt. If he think, or I will become wayward, I will become completely forgetful of him. So Krishna did not give me the money so that I will not be forgetful of him. And then he walked. The point is that the bhakti is such a path where Krishna, initially we bend to the will of Krishna. We bend to the will of our Sri Guru, of our spiritual master, because spiritual master being the representative of Krishna, we have no access to Krishna. Through the mercy of Sri Guru, then we can understand. So we say to the spiritual master, yes sir, to the orders. And then when we follow, with that, Krishna is also in the same way saying, how can I reciprocate that service? How can I serve my devotee? Shall I tell you one more beauty of Krishna? Ramananda Saka Prabhu, if you would be so kind to pull up Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Leela, chapter 1, text 108, please. You might be thinking, oh, I'm doing so much of service to Krishna. I'm 108, sorry. Verse number is 108. Yeah, Antya/1/108. Kindly repeat after me. Brityasya pashyati gurum naparadam. Thank you. Brityasya pashyati gurum apinaparadhan. Sevam managapi kritam bahudabhyupaiti. Aveshkaroti pishuneshvapinabhyasuyam. Shilena nirmalamati purushottamoyam. Brityasya pashyati gurum apinaparadhan. Sevam managapi kritam bahudabhyupaiti. Avishkaroti pishuneshvapinabhyasuyam. Shilena nirmalamati purushottamoyam. Pavani Mataji, please do the translation.
Hare Krishna. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as Purushottama, the greatest of all persons, has a pure mind. He is so gentle that even if his servant is implicated in a great offense, he does not take it very seriously. Indeed, if his servant renders some small service, the Lord accepts it as being very great. Even if an envious person blasphemes the Lord never manifests anger against him. Such are his great qualities.
Govind Prabhu. So, for example, if Shishupal was the personification of envy, even though the Lord tolerated 100 insults before he actually killed him, he didn't manifest anger every time. He said, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. That is one aspect of it. The second aspect of his Bhrigu Muni, he went and kicked. We know the story of, for those, everybody know the story of Bhrigu, because that's what, Mata, you know? All right, let me do that. One day there were sages who just were all sitting together and having some casual conversations, and they wanted to know who is the best, or who is the highest, Lord Brahma, or Lord Shiva, or Lord Vishnu. Oh, you know the story? No, okay, good. So when Bhrigu kicked the chest of Lord Vishnu didn't get angry. In fact, it was, I don't think you can do that at any level. I don't know how Bhrigu got inspired. Maybe he was inspired by the Lord himself. Otherwise, you can never do that. Forget, you going to Vaikuntha itself is impossible. He had to go to Vaikuntha to kick the chest of Lord Vishnu. Going to Vaikuntha is impossible. Demons tried. Hiranyakashipu went, where is Lord Vishnu? And he didn't come. So Lord Vishnu went into Hiranyakashipu's heart and he unmanifested himself. Durvasa went and Durvasa said, sorry. Now you to go to Lord Vaikuntha and then kick him on the chest while his Lakshmi Devi is there. Oh my goodness, I can't even imagine. But he was not angry. He's like, oh my God, oh Brahmana, I hope your feet are not hurting because my chest is very hard. Please come sit. I'm so sorry I didn't. And he just, that is a beauty. But here it's mentioned that Krishna, when he ended his pastimes, how did Krishna end his pastimes in this world? Physically speaking. He was shot? Huh? Shot in the where? Feet. By who? That Jara was Bhrigumuni. It is mentioned because he committed the offense to the Lord, he was born in the low class family as Jara, as a deer hunter. And then the Lord said, oh, I know because you kicked me on the chest, you are born in this low class thing, but now you will actually take the arrow and you will enact my pastime, and then you will go back home, back to Godhead. So because Krishna couldn't tolerate, just because of an offense, that, Bhrigumuni had become a Jara, and now he had to, suffer in this. So he's so wonderful personality, Sri Krishna. He's so merciful, so benevolent, so magnanimous. He's worth taking shelter of. If at least once in this life, you should try him. You will not think of anything else. You will not think of any other Lord. You will not think of any other personality that you can give your heart, soul, and mind and everything to, and not have the fear that it will be crushed, not have the fear that he will not reciprocate. It's mentioned that a little smallest service you do, he will take it as greatest. That is Krishna. Material world, you go do performance review, it's opposite. You slave for the whole year, work 12 hours a day, they will only show 4 faults that you did. Yes or yes? This is the opposite. If you have committed a great offense, Krishna will say, this is not a big deal. It's fine. I'll take him. Apichet sudhvajara charo. That's fine. Chalta hai. I'll take care of him. Because he is mine, I'll correct him. So be under the protection of Krishna and his servant, and then he will take charge. It's guaranteed. This is the beauty, that when Krishna says something, there is no power in the entire existence that can say no to him. That can say, you're wrong. That can say your words cannot come true. That is Krishna, whose every word has the power to manifest his, or to become true. And that is the bhakti. That is. So, at any point of time when we feel dejected, at any point of time we feel that it's not working out, please, just no matter what, stay in the association of devotees and do the best of your sadhana, and Krishna will help you. One last point, not one last, there is some more time. But here is the thing, Krishna says, always think of me, yes or yes? In the Bhagavad Gita, highest thing, he says, Mayeva manadhastva. Then in the same Bhagavad Gita, he says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto, yes or yes? From me comes remembrance, knowledge, and Ajib. You say, think of me, and then you only give me remembrance. So the thing is, the Bhagavad Gita has that love of Krishna, but in a way it is little covered. Krishna says, always think of me. He guarantees, because you are serving me, I will give you remembrance. Because he has to give remembrance, otherwise how will I remember Krishna? If I am in coma, if I am in whatever, unconscious, I won't remember Krishna. So when we try our best, when we try with utmost sincerity in our heart that Krishna, I want to serve you. The beauty of Srila Prabhupada's purport is that the devotee will never budge an inch. I really like that. In the purport he said that it doesn't matter what happens, the devotee will, that is the only asset as a devotee we have. My sankalpa that I will not budge an inch from your lotus feet, come what may. That is the only thing literally I have. That is my intention that I can give to Krishna. Everything else, he has to give me in a proper time, proper frame. Otherwise, it's impossible. Yes or yes? So, but how do we get that sankalpa is if we stay in the association of devotees, and more importantly, read Prabhupada's books, where, Bhagavatam has the story after story after story on how the devotees have experienced everything, and they have to come to the conclusion that Krishna's lotus feet is everything. Because one of the things in Bhagavatam, and sometimes first time when I read Bhagavatam, I felt little inferior. You know why? When Bhagavatam is a story about kings. I'll be a king, maybe I'll be in Bhagavatam. Think like that. You can think like that. It can manifest in other ways, even in the practical world. The reason why Shukadeva Goswami picked up the kings and not a poor Brahmana is, if the story of Bhagavatam was entirely about poor Brahmanas who got highest positions because of their Brahminical qualifications, people will say these Brahmanas are poor, they didn't experience the luxury of living like a king. The Bhagavatam is incomplete. But Bhagavatam talks of Maharaj Parikshit who experienced the whole earth. Forget running for re-election, forgetting raising funds for campaign, forget trying Senate trying to block your bills or judiciary trying to run you down. He was the judge, jury and executioner. Nobody could question him. And he had the control of the whole wide earth. And yet, at the very end, it was not that, Lord, this is too much. I still had few more years that I could, everything you took away. I'm in my prime of the youth. I'm having an illustrious lineage. My Pandavas were my grandfathers. And, few more years. Okay, maybe it's your turn that you are ending my life now. But in the next life, maybe you should give me some more of what you gave me now. No. After experiencing this whole wide earth and its complete and absolute rulership, he asks only for three things. Maharaj Parikshit, at the time of death, he doesn't ask for a lot of things. And that is a reoccurring theme in Bhagavatam. That you can, should we look up, there's 2-3 verses that are the essence, that is the theme of Bhagavatam wherever the devotee goes. And because it is applicable to the person who is passing away, since we are all going to be in that journey and that stage, it is essential to remember at that time with a clear clarity on what I want in my next life. I have a prerogative to ask Krishna after a lifetime of service what I want. And he will grant you, but you should exactly know what you should ask. And the great sages and great personalities and saints of Bhagavatam, they specifically asked for that. So we will also ask the same thing so that, we are in line with the great Mahajans of Bhagavatam. Is that okay? We'll pick up 2 verses that probably they reflect what should be my prayers when my time comes. And first prayer is 119, Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 19th chapter, 17th verse or 16th verse. Let's try 16th. I'm sorry. This is Maharaj Parikshit's prayer. Yeah, this is Maharaj Parikshit's prayer. This is what he asked after experiencing everything. And when he was about to die, he didn't ask for anything else. Kindly repeat after me this beautiful prayer. Punascha bhuyad bhagavatyanante rati prasangacha tadashrayeshu mahatsuyam yam upayami srishtim maitrastu sarvatra namo dvijebhyaha punascha bhuyad bhagavatyanante rati prasangacha tadashrayeshu mahatsuyam yam upayami srishtim maitrastu sarvatra namo dvijebhyaha. Rampriya Prabhu, please do the translation.
Hare Krishna. Translation. Again, offering obeisances unto all you Brahmanas, I pray that if I should again take my birth in the material world, I will have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord Krishna, association with his devotees, and friendly relations with all living beings.
This here, at the very outset, Maharaj Parikshit didn't even ask for liberation. He said, if I have to come back to this world, which means I don't even care if Krishna will take me back to Vaikuntha or put me back into this world. So at the outset, he rejects liberation, whatever Krishna wants. But then what do I want after that? 3 things he asks for. He says that I should have complete attachment to Lord Krishna, association of his devotees, and friendly relationships with all living entities. This is my prayer at the time of death. You might say, this is one-off prayer. Maybe Maharaj Parikshit was, he was. But let's look up one more verse. Let's see what does that verse says. Again, one of the exalted prayers this is by Vritra. 6th canto, 11th chapter, 27th verse, please. This is Vritra. Now he is at the time he's ready to depart from this world. He has been. This is the beauty of Vritra. A short story. For those who are unfamiliar, Maharaj Chitraketu was born as Vritrasura because of a curse of Mother Parvati, and he was so powerful that the demigods could not defeat him. They went to Lord Vishnu. They said, how can we kill this demon? He said, go to Dadyancha Muni, collect the bones of his body, make a Vajra weapon, and you can kill Vritrasura with this. Vritrasura could have said, what sort of Lord is this? That he tells how he should kill me to my enemies. Imagine you have a very faithful servant in your home, and if the enemy comes to rob you or kill you, and the servant says, here is where the gun is hidden in the home, you'll be happy with that servant or what? You'll feel betrayed. My God, what sort of... Yes or yes? But this is exactly what had happened. He had taken shelter of Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu said to the demigods, go kill him. This is my servant, this is how you should kill him. Vritrasura should be very angry, correct? What sort of Lord is this? I've taken shelter of him. He is telling my enemies how to kill me. But here, because these devotees are completely surrendered to Krishna, in fact, he says, Indra was killing him, and he was defeated. He was pushed back. He had setbacks in his fight. Vritrasura was encouraging, please pick up Vajra and kill me. This is Lord's order. And then when he is about to leave this world, he sings the same exalted prayer. Kindly repeat after me. Mamottama shloka janeshu sakhyam samsara chakre bhramata svakarmabhi tvanmayayatmatmajadarageshu asakta chittasya nanatha bhuya mamottama shloka janeshu sakhyam samsara chakre bhramata svakarmabhi tvanmayayatmatmajadarageshu asakta chittasya nanatha bhuya. Prabhu, please do the translation.
O my Lord, my Master, I am wandering throughout this material world as a result of my fruitive activities. Therefore, I simply seek friendship in the association of your pious and enlightened devotees. My attachment to my body, wife, children, and home is continuing by the spell of your external energy, but I wish to be attached to them no longer. Let my mind, consciousness, and everything I have be attached only to you.
Here again, Vritrasura did not make a demand. Yeah, you have betrayed me. Now at least give me my reward of taking me back. He didn't say that. He said, again, I'm wandering through the cycle of birth and death because of my karmic activity. If you want to place me anywhere, you can place me. But please give me the association of your devotees. Give me the attachment and absorption in you. So our prayers at the time of death should be those. That anywhere you place me, that's your choice. Because I don't want to have a say in that. The only say I have is, please give me the association of our devotees. Please give me attachment to your lotus feet. And may I be attached to hearing about your pastimes and chanting. So that should be our mood. Questions, comments, concerns. Ramananda Sakaprabhu, I am at your disposal in terms of the time. If I can continue, I should continue, or should 9:30. All right. Questions, comments, concerns.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. Like any endeavor that we do materially on this in this world is a futile attempt, and anything that, I mean, the takeaway point for me is that anything we do on the path of spirituality is our eternal benefit. And the common theme of all the prayers that you touched upon is, I think throughout the Bhagavatam, I like this theme that even Haridas Thakur also is asking for, may I be always remain in the association of devotees, and may I be attached to you. Right. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. One question I have is, this all looks so nice, and when we hear sit in the temple Bhagavatam, we feel like this is a spiritual world. But again, when we have to go back, to the world, to deal with the world, it feels like we are juggling with the two worlds always, right? So if you could share some perspective on, there is a hard endeavor, I think, in this world, even as a devotee, when we are going in this world and dealing with what is necessary. Even that for necessity, it looks like a lot of endeavor. If you could shed some light on what should be our attitude to deal with that, when we have to, especially in Bay Area, work so hard even to, maintain. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. That's a very important question you asked, and thank you for that question. Because in the verse that we discussed about bare necessities. And that often can be a very tricky term. Because the principle is that I'll work for bare minimum necessities of life. But then the question comes is, how much is bare? And the answer to that question is, it depends, from strictly Vedic perspective, it depends on Varna and Ashrama. For example, it is mentioned for a sannyasi, the bare minimum in terms of food is how much food you can store in your belly. That's it. Don't even think of storing food for the next day. That is bare minimum for a sannyasi. For a grihastha, you need to have some they can't apply the same thing for a grihastha. Okay, kids come tomorrow, they will, and for food they'll say, we will wait for Krishna to supply food, because we are only having bare minimum. It doesn't work. Bare minimum for a grihastha is different. And, if the king adopts the attitude of bare minimum, think about it, there will be no army. There will be so bare minimum changes based on Varna and Ashrama purely from Vedic perspective. The idea that we have is, if some things can be done at this level, I don't need to endeavor at this level. I'll give a simple example. You have a car, you need to buy a car. From Vedic perspective, it was unnecessary. Why do you need a car? Modern Kali Yuga, we need a car. Yes or yes? So that is a bare minimum for us, and it is not aligned with Vedic. But then, depending on how much money you want to spend on the car or how grand you want to spend on the car, that can be something you can adjust. That principle can be applied. Don't spend like 1,500 on a car and then put it in the shop for every day it goes. Where is your car? I couldn't come to the temple. Sorry, Prabhu, I couldn't do my service. Why? because I bought a $1,500 car, and it's in the garage for practically 200 days a year. So the idea is having that sort of balance where we say, what is the bare minimum that I can do to keep my service alive? That's important. One point. Second point is Krishna places us in different positions of the universe in different situations according to our past karma, destiny, and his will. Growing up, who are from India, none of us thought that we'll come and stay here in this country, yes or yes? Yet we are here by past karma. So now that you are here, so we need to do what is bare minimum. If we have to work for 10 hours a day to maintain ourselves as a bare minimum, that we have to do. But the beauty is, please understand this though, that act of sacrificing for Krishna to maintain the bare minimum will eventually please Krishna in the long run because we are doing it for him. In that sense, Arjuna was over-endeavoring like anything when he fought the war. It was not only hard work, violent, gory work. Imagine killing 1 million soldiers in one day. You please don't ever think about these violent movies where the hero kills or the heroine kills without compunction and they go as up, life is going on. It's a deep traumatic thing to kill someone. In fact, ask the soldiers who are coming back from the war, after seeing the violence in the war, for those who are not Kshatriyas, it's a very traumatic experience. There is post-traumatic syndrome. There's a lot of things that happen because the mind can't handle that kind of violence because you're not in a position, you're not a Kshatriya to handle that kind of violence. So, my point is that we do what we are destined to do and what is needed at that point of time to maintain my bhakti without sacrificing my bhakti. And oftentimes the other point is that every family, every individual has their own definition of bare minimum. And I'll tell you one last point. There is a material urge that needs to be fulfilled as well because we are conditioned from the past. There is that aspect to take care of it as well. So there has to be that balance in terms of bare minimum. It's a very broad answer, but given the fact that there is no a set bare minimum, universal answer for everyone. But the principles should remain. The details can change. One of the interesting things we were discussing in our Bhakti Shastri class is Rupa Goswami gives 64 items of sadhana bhakti. At the very outset, Srila Prabhupada says, these are principles, not details. For example, approaching a spiritual master is a principle everyone should follow. Now, exactly which spiritual master to go, what to take shelter, how to follow the instructions, those are all the details that is beyond the scope of syllabus kind of situation. Rupa Goswami clarifies it. But a principle should remain. Is that helpful?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And you can tell. And how can you tell? How can you tell whether I'm balancing or not? If your mind is too agitated with material things, then you will see you are overending. When mind goes beyond, constantly, not once in a while it goes and things happen. It constantly goes beyond, then maybe we are just pushing outside the boundaries of what we are supposed to. Is that helpful? Thank you. It's a very good question to ask. Because bare minimum can be very, some people can be, the devotees can have the complex that even though they have money, they'll say, oh, I should be bare minimum, feeling guilty. And you can go in a very discordant and disharmonious ways with bhakti. So on that, I think we can have a class some other time on the money and devotee and everything from the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, from the Avantika Brahman. More questions, comments? Yes. Sakala Subha Prabhu and then Ravini Dula Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the wonderful class. So I just want to reflect on about the illusion that Krishna has created. It's so it's so nice actually. Like and it provides a very natural way of, like, and also it gives free will. Like you want to choose illusion, you can choose, or if you want to choose me, you can choose. But he does not provide any compulsion. Although he's a whole creator, he just sits aside so that, but he don't enforces. That's a beauty. I feel like, I just want to reflect on that.
Thank you. It's a really nice point. Rohinidilal?
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So I was thinking, so just like we discussed today's verse, right? So there is one verse that comes in the second chapter of first canto also, which says that kamasya nendriya priti labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jignasa nardo yascheha karmavi. How the life's desire should not be directed towards the sense gratification, and also the endeavors should be towards the spiritual realization. So just recollecting that. And also in one place you were saying that how Lord rewards even a small thing with big heart. And I was thinking of the same pastime that you spoke about Sudama. Even though he just gave chipper rice, so he reciprocated so much. Of course, devotionally he reciprocated a lot, but materially also he reciprocated. And even to the fruit seller also he reciprocated nicely. So I was reflecting on those. Thank you.
Thank you. Yashoda Kripa Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Sorry, I didn't see your hand up.
No worries. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so very much for picking up this very, very relevant topic today. And as Ramprey Prabhu was saying, most of us, practically all of us, will find ourselves somewhere in this purport, right? In the Bay Area. So with your permission, Prabhu, I have a reflection and a follow-up question. Is that okay?
Please.
So while reading the purport, Prabhu, I was just focusing on this part. Prabhupada mentions the buildings, furnitures, factories, industries, atomic energy, electronics are simply bewildering names of material elements, concomitant reactions of three modes. And then Srila Prabhupada writes, devotees are not interested in creating unwanted things for a situation which is not at all reality. And if you look at today's world, we are going, in fact, towards more and more of virtual reality. And it's very common, like in the world of social media and all, the relationships are fading away. People are getting more virtual. One example that you very appropriately brought up was the defocusing from camera and then doing something else. And in the relationships also, we see people just posing different fake things on the camera. And then there's another extreme end of the social media part is that people posing in front of a rhinoceros, tiger, or jumping from a cliff and then making a TikTok video, and those, these are all unnecessary things. But the reality is that, and I find myself sometimes complaining to myself that practically all of our jobs in data analytics, software, technology, electronics, semiconductors, they are all driven by these kind of unnecessary extreme demands of people posing in front of rhinoceros in the TikTok, right? So then Srila Prabhupada further writes here, like, we should make the best bargain, best use of best bargain of this.
Best use of bad bargain.
Yeah, best use of bad bargain, that thing. So we are anyways in the situation, we cannot change the people's behavior, TikTok and all those unnecessary use of technology there. So we just have to make our living out of this and just move on without getting attached to these things. So that's a very profound topic that you picked up, Prabhu. And then thank you for again allowing us this chance to understand this deeply. My question is regarding this topic of bare minimum necessities of life. So as we know that we still need minimum necessities of life to perform devotional service. And just a couple of days back, one of my bhakti buddies here, he said he's been continuing for like past 1 year, attending classes in our temple, including some of your classes on Zoom. And then he said, I'm working 2 jobs in a day, working 16 to 18 hours. I have to survive, feed my family. I really so much want to attend the mantra zone yesterday, but I could not attend. And I'm taking a break from my bhakti practices. because I have to work 2 jobs a day and work 18 hours a day. So how can I do these things? And I don't have an answer for this person because he is living in a very extreme, difficult situation and he wants to practice bhakti, but he has to meet the necessities of life. So that's where I'm just kind of caught in how to address this person's concerns.
Thank you. When you have to work 18 hours a day, the question you should ask is why? How many, and how do you define feed the family? If feed the family is that I need to provide every luxury to the family and take care of so many things and accept myself so many responsibilities, then that is an internal situation, a personal situation that one has to deeply consider, saying that, do you really need it? Do you need to take that kind of endeavor? The other point is, earlier I mentioned about how family, while there is an obligation, it is not life itself. Because, when a person passes away, the wife says, okay, take the body out, as I mentioned earlier. So that reality has to be reflected, or that reality has to be juxtaposed with your hard work. Then you will have a balance saying that, why am I working this hard and for whom I am working this hard? My body itself is going to go and so is my family member. So what is the point? So if you don't have the spiritual, very purpose of coming to mantra zone is to get this kind of basic anchored understanding of spiritual life. Otherwise you will be lost saying that 18 hours is what I need to do and I need to exclude bhakti. So you can tell that person that this, okay, Govind Prabhu, you had something to say? Please, somebody give mic to Govind Prabhu. Thank you.
I think unless one is, I heard from one of the Swamijis, unless one is kicked left, right and center by Maya Devi, one does not, this vairagya does not, self-realization or some tinge of that does not arise. Obviously till then we are
yeah, but then
paradise.
Thank you, Govind Prabhu. But then our responsibility is to show compassion and sometimes be stern with the people who are wayward like that, to bring them back, right?
Yeah, and then also as one of the Gaudiya Bhajans also says that Jad Mayar Jat Vaibhav Jiver Bhajane Badha, right?
Yeah.
So the Vaibhav is Jiver Bhajane Badha, because Janma Moha Janmiya Anitya Sanshare Jiver Kore Gadha, right? So it makes the person a donkey.
You tell that to the modern man, he'll be very offended by that statement.
Yeah. So I think this is where at least we have some context, right? The more context we have because of previous lives and exposures to the spirituality and philosophy because of culture, I think that is a big asset. Because I think, and then Bhartruhari has also written the Vairagya Shatakam, which I think I would like to read at some point. Because if nothing else, we have heard Bhaja Govindam, So there are so many verses in Bhaja Govindam. So I think some constant exposure from here or there is needed. And at some time it will click, Of course, we can always suggest. Some interest in these kind of Vairagya Shatakam or Bhaja Govindam is required.
Chant Hare Krishna, don't do all those. Because the problem is, when you do all these things, you will get the negative but not the positive. So chant, you just adopt chanting. At the sound risk of being like a broken tape recorder, this is the only effective means in the age of Kali is to chant. So if you can induce somebody to chant, then we can automatically include other things. Otherwise, we can include all the shatakas, but Vairagya will come, but Bhakti will not come, and you will wear off.
One story I heard recently is by a saint. There was a real story of one Baniya, Ram Charan Gupta, somewhere in Madhya Pradesh, I think. So he was a complete businessman, never interested in any kind of spirituality. And only concerned with opening the shop, ending, doing the accounts, everything, that's it. Everyone said, "Arey bhai, do some kuch Ram Bhajan, do something." And then, I'm fine. So then his friends somehow tricked him. He said, they put a lot of mental pressure. "Oh, come to Ayodhya, let's go. At least for your children, do it at least once." So he ultimately he went once. And there they kind of tricked him to get the holy name, Ram Mantra. And then the Baba said, "Okay, now you have to constantly chant this." He said, "No, we will not do all this. I have no time for all this." He said, "Then why did you take?" "I didn't realize they gave me all this. I won't be able to do all this." He said, "Oh, then do one thing. While opening the shop, at least write the Ram Nam on one page, or at least say Sitaram." So yeah, that I can do. So he did that, and slowly that picked up so much, and he could not stop writing. Once his his son, he had he ran out of paper. Then he got the pajama kurta of his son, and then wrote with that Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. And then so he said, "You've spoiled my new clothes." He said, "But what can I do? I can't live without it now." So that was his infatuation with Sitaram and then holy name. And then the way he went was on Nirjal Ekadashi, he wrote Sitaram everywhere. Then he called one of his another one of his neighbors from a neighboring shop. He said, "Put Sitaram on my back because I can't write." And then by doing jap, he actually went. That is how Ram Charan Gupta he went, who did not want to do anything at all.
Very nice.
So by hook or crook, he was introduced.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is a story that I heard.
Thank you, Govind Prabhu, for sharing. Hare Krishna. Other questions, comments? We have 5 more minutes. I wanted to sing a bhajan, but we'll take question and answers. I don't want to sing with there are question and answers. Please. No, it's not important, actually.
Prabhuji, we see Prabhupada also talks about simple living and high thinking, and also minimizing the endeavors towards, of course, there is a lot of discussion that happened, but we see that most of the endeavor most of the consciousness goes into the job that we do, and we can't call it as minimum endeavor, right? So, and at the same time, we want to advance devotionally also. It looks contradictory there itself, right? And we have to overcome this contradiction to advance devotionally, right? So what should be the ways that one should look to minimize this endeavor as one progresses towards, at the end of the life, we have this test, right? Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram. At least by the time of death, if we want to achieve that state, right, we have to start endeavor to reduce the endeavor in the material things. Right? So, I mean, I want to hear your thoughts and how can we implement that.
Well, your story mirrors quite few software engineers in Silicon Valley who have to work long hours, and therefore you said, obviously that is not minimum endeavor, it's maximum endeavor kind of thing you were alluding to in your question. But the very fact is that is the minimum endeavor to stay alive here. Now you are, by Krishna's mercy, actually Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita in one of the purports that whatever job we are placed in right now is because of Krishna's mercy, or Krishna has guided us to somehow come to that job. Just like Arjuna came to the position of fighting, and then he didn't want to fight, and Krishna said, "No, you have to do your duty." So our field of duty, like Arjuna's field of duty, is decided by Krishna. So when I come there, then the minimum endeavor is to keep doing that duty to the best of my ability. Now, there are long answers and very individual answers. I hate software. I don't like it. I'm not cut out to be this. Okay, that's a whole other argument. Let's not get there, because that will need a career counselor, a psychologist, a trusted go. That let's not get there. But I have to come here. This is what Krishna gave me, and I have to do. Then, if it is 10 or 12 hours a day, then that is the minimum endeavor. So for me, it's a minimum endeavor I have to maintain. Because this is the thing, though. Rohini Dalal Prabhu, the fruit of that hard work is not for kamasya nendriya priti. That is what you are not doing, because you are maintaining a home that has a temple, you are maintaining a family that is devotees. That act of 12 hours a day actually is towards a higher purpose. But hard work, because if you take out, Pavani Bhakti will tell you, if you take it out, how many people don't cook? They work hard all day long so that at the end of life, at the end of the day, they can completely indulge in sense gratification. That is what is condemned in Bhagavatam, not the hard work in of itself. And if need be, then we have to. Either we can change, so you can make radical choices, radical changes, radical career, so on and so forth. That is one aspect to it. But as you are in this position, you have to fight. Whether I can fight or not fight, whether I am suited for that, not suited for, that's a whole other topic. But if you have to take up that fight, then you have to take up. But this is the other thing, though. Krishna is putting us here. I'm pretty sure, me being a long-term resident of Bay Area, and I'm sure everybody must have thought of like big houses in Texas, and the one person working instead of both the spouses work, only one person maintaining. So much people must have thought. But the fact that I'm sacrificing it so that I can serve this community, won't Krishna take cognizance of that fact? And he will make arrangement, and that is a part of his purification, so that he will quickly move me from this stuff. It's a debate that has many nuances. Family, it has finances, career. There's so many nuances to it. But the very fact is, at the end of the day, that I am here to serve, and that hard work is a method to serve. That should give deep satisfaction, saying I made the right choices, even though it seems a little hard. And Krishna will take cognizance of that fact. Because it said, we said from that verse, that even small service, he takes it as great, but now really you are sacrificing a lot for Krishna. Wouldn't he not take that as a cognizance? You had some? Yes, please, Pavani Mataji. Thank you for chiming in with something.
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to add something for Yashoda Kripa, that how he should deal with this newcomer. I really thought that this was really good that the newcomer thought that I really want to come to this program, but I have two jobs. Like we all work in software, so we think, why should you do two jobs? But maybe it's their family situation that they are working, it's bare minimum needs that this person has to work two jobs, because one job is not enough. So the very fact that this person said that he wants to come, he has a desire to come, and we should tell him that Krishna will fulfill that desire. We should give him other options which are not as hard as this one, that it's okay, you cannot chant, you chant in the car. It's not perfect, but you can do that. So I think we should congratulate him for that thought, that he got that thought, and pat him at the back that yes, this is really good. And it's okay you did not come, that give him other options, which might be easier, may not be perfect for us as a devotee, but for him is a very big deal. So I think we should just make some accommodations, like Prabhupada made accommodations for all of us. And I think just take it in a positive way rather than crucify this person, like, you should not do this. We don't know what journey of their life they are in, and we should just be compassionate and appreciative of the effort that he is taking. A simple act of kindness from our side will go a long way in this person's journey to stay them alive in Krishna consciousness, rather than giving a lot of hard objectives to them at this stage. Yeah, just for a newcomer, not for somebody who's like us, who's over-endeavoring. for nothing. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Pavani. That's really nice. And even for us who are over-rendering, we all need encouragement sometimes. It's okay. But thank you. That's a really nice point that you mentioned.
Prabhu, if I may, just thank you, Mataji, for your wonderful comments. And what I think I am finding kind of answer in this verse. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kamo dharadi tivrena bhakti yogena visham. So if he is having material desires, just worship Krishna. If we can work together to bring this person back and worship Krishna, even for material desires in the beginning, where else should he go? So thank you so much, Prabhu and Mataji, for your wonderful feedback here.
Thank you. Any other point? Question? I saw Govind Prabhu had raised his hand. If it is really quick, you didn't raise your hand, right? If it is quick, then we can. Otherwise, we'll stop here. All right. All right. Govind Prabhu is thinking. I know, it's okay. It's okay. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming to the morning Bhagavatam class. Frankly speaking, I was expecting maybe 1 or 2 devotees. If that, it is not surprising. Morning, sometimes in Bhakti Shastri class, when I come, there is nobody. So I was expecting 1, 2. But so thank you for coming and for your kind attention to the class. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha paritanam. We don't have Malini, so you can make the announcements.
I think Malini and Kautuk are really doing good job in the book distribution in the LA. So if somebody is interested, please join them at LA. And you can also do the Rath Yatra, I'm sure. And if somebody else from Western Sankirtan wants to announce spots, you can announce. But I can give you a quick update. I wanted to give this last time, but I didn't get a chance on the Bhakti community. I want to remind you all that it's so important to not just give books to the newcomers, but invite them, ask them to take the next step. And it's really in our hands. And many times we forget that. And many book distributors give me contacts of newcomers and connect them. It's very hard for us when we did not do that transaction then and there, or did not inform them about Bhakti community, or connect them to somebody to take their hand. So requesting you, please, I just want to give one example. Like 2 weeks back when Harinam happened, there was one Iranian girl. She got books from Krishna Sakha, and Krishna Sakha asked her to come to our home program, and she came. And she was so happy, and I could see the actual, Vijay Prabhu was doing the class, and he's a pure devotee. Vijay Prabhu is in the system for 50 years, 47 years to be precise. And just by hearing him, she was so inspired. And when she was going back, she told us that, next week, if I don't come, don't think I'm not interested. I have a new job, so there may be a possibility that I may not come, but I'm really interested. I really love this, and I want to connect with you folks. So it really touched our hearts, and it was so important that simple step that Krishna Sakha did. And then Vijay Prabhu asked Krishna Sakha, after the whole program was done, we do one more time Kirtan. He asked him, would you like to do Kirtan? Krishna Sakha was not comfortable. He is not a Kirtan person, but a pure devotee is asking him to do Kirtan, and he reluctantly sat. And this girl was cheering for him, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And we all started cheering, and then Krishna Sakha did Kirtan. So I could see that there are so many people like this. One man came, there's just an announcement, and he came and he was eating prasadam, and he told me, we eat prasadam in the start, and then we do the session so that people are like full in stomach when they do the session. We don't give prasadam at 9, we give prasadam at 6. So this person told me, I have other obligations. I have somebody to pick up. So I will be going soon. Is it okay if I leave the room in the middle? We said, yeah, you can leave anytime you want, no problem. And he had to pick up somebody. He made it like a serious matter for him, but he preempted me. So I told my husband that, he's going to leave. So when he leaves, just walk him by the door. And this person did not leave. He left. He kept on going for the class till 9 p.m. He just couldn't come out. And he was just so inspired by the session. He had so much reflections and so many questions. So we don't know. A lot of people are going through a lot of troubles. They need good association. They need just simple people. And that's what we are providing. And if you're inspired, please join us to create that ecosystem for these new people. And if you don't have time, just send the people that you know to us and we will take care of them. That's all Bhakti community is all about. Please sign them up and they'll get all notifications and we are happy to take from there. Hare Krishna. Prasadam prayers. Somebody can take Prasadam prayers. Prabhu. Maybe Yashoda.
Sharira Vidyaja. Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai.
Hare Krishna, looks like the prasadam is still being offered, so it will take around 15-20 more minutes. You have a choice. You can sing prasadam prayers and then just sit here for some time until the prasadam comes, and then you can take prasad. What's that? Yeah. Also, yes, yeah.